everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I am a teacher-turned-homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today I'm going to talk to you about why I don't want funding. There are times throughout the year where people naturally decide to make the switch to homeschooling. Between June and September tends to be a very popular time. I actually find that like August, it's when people like pull the trigger and say, yes, we're doing this. And it tends to be a big transition for a lot of people. March break tends to be another, spring break tends to be another one for a lot of people, and then obviously Christmas tends to be a big transition time for a lot of families as well. I understand if you're going to pull your kids mid-year, Christmas makes sense. You've had a couple of months to try it out and see how things are, see if things improve, see if you can get it to work for you. And then if it's not working or whatever, I understand that like it tends to be a natural time. Your kids already have to clean out their lockers anyway, because no one wants food in their lockers for 2 weeks. And so like the teachers are already making them clean out their lockers. They're bringing home all their work. Like it makes sense. Like you're wrapping up things in the school year, and then you're coming into January, which is oftentimes seen as a time of like fresh starts and new resolutions and making new commitments to things. And so I get it. It's a natural time to transition to homeschooling for a lot of families. Interestingly enough, because it's a time when a lot of people are transitioning, I get this question a lot. So what happens, I run this Facebook group that has about 12,000 members, and it's all about homeschooling. And I see a lot of new parents who come in, they're like, oh, we are so excited. We can't wait to homeschool, but like homeschooling can be expensive. You have to buy curriculum and pencils and all these things. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get some money from the government? And they're coming in with the greatest intentions. I've even seen some new homeschoolers who have tried to start petitions and then immediately get shut down by veteran homeschoolers. We are like, nope, we don't want it. We don't want the funding. Stop. You don't know what you're doing. And they get shut down. It comes off a little aggressive at times. And so I'm going to explain to you why, as a veteran homeschooler, as a homeschool consultant, I do not want homeschool funding. I live in Ontario. I do not have funding. There are other provinces in Canada that also have zero funding. But there are provinces where they do receive funding. BC and Alberta tend to be kind of revered as the best provinces to have in terms of funding, because depending on what program you decide to do, they have different options for homeschooling. You can get a significant amount of money to cover the costs of homeschooling, which sounds great in theory. I would love to just be like, check and get a check and have money, but it's not that simple. And I think that's the thing people don't realize that happens in those provinces is like the strings that come attached with the money. So in Ontario, we have no money, but we also have no strings. The only thing that we have to do is submit a letter of intent at the beginning of the school year, and then we're done. We don't have to do anything else. We don't get any money, but we don't have to do anything else. When you are in these other provinces where they are getting funding, especially when they're getting like large amounts of funding, like $1,000 a kid, the more money you're getting, the more strings that are attached. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about strings? So sometimes these strings are going to look like testing. So you have to go in at certain times of the year and do government testing. And if your kids aren't passing the testing, you can be denied the access to homeschooling. There might be reporting where you have to submit like monthly reports, annual reports, term updates, like fill out actual documents and send them to the ministry, and they will have someone in their homeschool department who goes through and make sure that you're doing everything that you're saying you're doing. You have to submit like pieces of your kids' work, all these kinds of things, and they're documents. They're government documents. You have to fill them out. And it's just one more thing. So you have reporting, you have testing, you have other kinds of requirements. And so that becomes, it's a thing when you have to start balancing, is this worth it? Right? Some school boards, I know specifically for the amount of money in BC that you get, it is not just filling out reports. You actually have to have a teacher come into your home every single month. So you're basically signing up to have someone supervise you once a month. And in that month, you have to have a meeting. You have to discuss things with them, show them all your kids' work. And they're basically saying, yeah, this is good, or no, it's not. And if it's not good enough, or up to their standards, there's a process there. So I don't know about you, but I don't really want to have to fill out extra forms, do all these extra things and sometimes there's a lot to do. Like some of these papers and reports are like 40, 50 pages, and it's to get like $200. To get funding, you might also have to keep records. So there might be you might have to keep records of like what days you do schooling on, how long those times are, what subjects you covered, what happened in those subjects, what you covered in each of those subjects. And so it becomes a lot of work, and sometimes it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. Like filling out massive reports and daily logs to get $200 a kid is a lot of work for not a lot of money. And I know some of you guys are like, well, $200, that would cover like most of my kids' curriculum for a year. It might not though. A lot of this money, because it's coming from the federal government, which is a public entity, means that the money has, again, more strings. So it can't just be used for whatever you want to use it for. It has to be used for specific things. You have to submit receipts, things like that. And so the money comes, and like you can't use it for what you want. You can't necessarily buy music books or sign up for extracurriculars. You can't buy board games, or doesn't matter how educational you, like it has to be for specific things. And it has to be secular. So if you're using things like The Good and the Beautiful, Gather Round, master books, like you can't apply that money to that curriculum because it's religious curriculum. It's religiously based. You can't use it. You can use it, but you can't pay for it with the government money. So yeah, while it would be lovely in theory that I could like check a little box saying I'm homeschooling my kids and just have money show up, that's not the reality. It's not. We actually joked around that like COVID was great because my homeschool kids were still qualified for all the all the COVID benefits. And so we were getting money for the first time ever to homeschool our kids in Ontario because it's just never been a thing. But now that our kids are not in school and that the COVID benefits are over, we still don't get anything. And we're very, very okay with that because it means I don't have any hoops to jump through. I don't have any reporting. I don't have any testing. I don't have to do anything in that sense to get any money. And then I also don't have any oversight. No one is coming in and telling me what to do, how to do it, what materials to learn, what approaches to take. If my kids are ahead, that's okay. If my kids are behind, that's okay. And they're not going to be penalized. I'm not going to be penalized for it. If I'm, slowing my kids down to work on something they're struggling with, that's okay. There's no ramifications. There's no repercussions for me. And I'm not doing all of that work for $200. Like it's not worth it. And so in Ontario and other provinces where you don't get any funding, we look at it as a small amount of freedom. Yes, we don't get any money, but we have a massive amount of freedom to homeschool our kids in the way that's best for them, using the materials that are best for them, and making sure that we're meeting them at their level and with their needs, and doing it in a way that is more of a lifestyle than trying to implement a school at home approach with them. And so that is why most veteran homeschoolers don't want homeschooling funding. And I just wanted to explain that because I get that question a lot. Now, I understand homeschooling can be expensive. Books can be expensive. There's a lot of ways to save money on that. I have videos on ways to save money on homeschooling. I'll put links down below for all of that. But I do want to encourage you that if you are homeschooling, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can beg, borrow, and steal. You can find free resources. Prioritize your resources. Put what money budget you have into, the things that you really need help with. And it is possible to do it on a very, very low budget. I know some people do it for free. I don't think that's really realistic, but it is possible to do it on a very small budget. And so I think like our budget for our kids is about $250 for workbooks for a whole year. I think I do about $250 for both kids total for a year of homeschooling books. So it is possible. It just sometimes means you have to be a little bit creative. You have to look around and you have to sometimes wait for a good sale. So, I hope this doesn't put you off of homeschooling because there's no funding. I hope you look at it and say like, oh, no funding equals more freedom. And I hope that you guys like this video and that you want to see more videos like this. Now, if you're starting to homeschool and you're like, I need more advice, I am very excited to say that I will be doing seminars. I will be doing a seminar coming up. I will have all the dates down below. And it'll be a 2-hour seminar where you can, like on Zoom, you can digital seminar, you can come and join up. It'll be about $20 Canadian. You can see me. I will answer all the steps and go through everything on how to get started homeschooling. And we'll also be doing a big Q&A session. So if that is something that's interesting to you, I'll put a link down below to register. And I hope that that'll be a helpful resource for you guys as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider becoming members. Lots of great benefits for our members. Including free access to bonus videos, early releases, unit study reviews, all kinds of stuff. So also make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok because I put all kinds of cool stuff up there as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys. Actually, I won't see you guys till the new year because I'm going to be on break for holidays. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in 2024.